we never really come to a place where we understand fully. We never come to a place where we can so completely be at peace with what has happened, because we will sit with the scars. The scars are there. Different ways in which we are aware of them. Different ways that we realize that we do have the scars. I always think of battle scars as that kind of thing that gives me the right. I have the right to be humble. Now, in the Western mind, Western way of thinking, to be humble is always confused with weakness. But I'm not there in my thinking. I do not practice dualistic thinking. I practice maybe something else. I do not make a distinction between right and wrong, because it doesn't serve me. From the beginning, God said, don't eat of that tree. That tree will not serve you. If you make a distinction between right and wrong, good and evil, good and bad, and you only base what you believe about things on that, there is a higher way, the tree of life, which in my case, for me, is Jesus Christ. It might be different for different people, but for me, it's Him. When I eat of Him, I can see grace for the woman that has committed adultery like He did. Bringing it back to our marriage relationships. If you eat of the tree of life, you will see grace for the one that is struggling with you. You don't have to go there to make a choice and say, what you do is bad and what I do is good. Because it brings us to a predicament which we cannot resolve. And let me express it to you this way. If you really think about it, do you think I would believe wrong things just because I want to? Would you believe wrong things? No, you wouldn't. I've never met a person that says, I'm deliberately wrong and I'll have to be wrong. Most people would say, no, that's just the way I think about it. It's just my opinion, my paradigm, my way of understanding it. It's not wrong. You see, the predicament is, if I disagree with you, what does it make of me because you're right? Does it make me wrong? Of course. I won't think wrong things. Would I? No. I'm too clever for that. So if you disagree with me, you are wrong. When we eat of the tree of knowledge of good and evil, we make a distinction like that. So part of the paradigm, the frame of reference that we should start to embrace is to say that is not my level of making a distinction. Saying you are wrong, wife, because you disagree with me. Or you are wrong, husband, because you don't see the way I see it. And you know I won't be deliberately wrong. No one is deliberately wrong. But in interpersonal relationships, when we come to a place where we have that kind of mindset, that kind of paradigm, that kind of, or that way of thinking, which resembles eating of the tree of knowledge of good and evil, thus defining everything in terms of black and white, tall and short, and then attach a certain value to that. I like tall people, I don't like short people. I like beautiful women, I don't like ugly women. I like blue, I don't like black. If you go there, which indicates you're eating of the tree of knowledge of good and evil, you do not have life. If I continuously eat there, and the moment my wife disagrees with me, she's wrong, because I'm right. But if we can discard that, if in our relationships, and specifically the most important relationship in your life is your relationship with your husband and wife, or wife, I think a relationship that we can have with another, earthly terms, is with your partner, the one that you got married to. That is the one with potentially the deepest level of joy, but also, if it goes wrong, the deepest level of brokenness that it can produce. But in that relationship, if you and your partner keep on eating of that tree, which God from the beginning said, do not go there, do not go there, no, no, no. They could have moved to a tree 50 meters away, say, there's the tree of life, because they stood in the same garden. We don't eat of that tree. Let's go and pluck some of the fruit of that tree. Let's eat there, and we can experience life. We do not have to draw a distinction between good and evil. We can draw a distinction between good and evil as one entity and life as another entity, and we can opt for life. Which in my case, as I've said, it's Jesus Christ himself. That is the source of life. I'm not asking you to believe me if you have a different opinion. I'm just expressing my thinking. For me, that's the source of life. We have, as people, 4 dimensions of relationship that we can experience. The one is with him, and it's also in the sequence that it actually operates. The second one is with yourself. The third one is with other people, and the fourth one is with nature, or any inanimate objects that we are related to or in relationship with. And it could include the trees and the flowers and the birds and animals. In that sequence, if we can get it right, and that's not possible 100% of the time, but if we can get it right to have a very intimate, deep relationship with him, and I'm not talking religion here. Let me draw another distinction for you. You get something like religion, and you get something like a deep understanding of relationship. Religion is man's attempt to save himself because man feels guilty. And man is governed by external things like the law. And he tries to uphold that, and tries to appease that, and tries to please that. Something external to himself. And that's religion. There is something else I've just mentioned, or I called it relationship. Let's give it a different word, faith. There's something like faith, which says that you do not have to save yourself. There is someone that will save you if you have faith. There's someone that will become your source if you have faith. It topples you to be the king of your life, to be the one in control, because let me tell you, and now I speak for the women here, you want to control this situation deeply, desperately at some point in this journey. You want to control this. This should be differently handled. I will get this right. I will fix this.